So, The Christmas Tapes is a film that I just discovered a couple days ago for the first time ever. This is a pretty recent film. It came out in 2022, and this is streaming on Tubi right now, currently for free. And basically, it's an anthology. It plays quite in the vein of the VHS movies, and that's exactly what I read from a comment on Letterboxd. As somebody compared this to the VHS tapes, or VHS movies, which I immediately sold me into this because a Christmas version of that sounds pretty sweet. And I checked it out, and I have to say I pretty much had a great time with it, and I strongly recommend this one. It has three main shorts in it. They're I don't know, 20 minutes each, maybe 25 minutes. The last one is a little bit longer than the rest, but the movie in total is about an hour and 40 minutes. So you get three shorts, you get four in total, but one is like literally, I think, less than 2 minutes long, it feels. So I think they just threw that one in there, kind of like a short, maybe trailer seeming one. And then, of course, you have the wraparound story. Mainly, like I said, this film was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the shorts way more than the wraparound story, pretty much in every way. Uh, there just seemed to be a lot more like I'd have to say like a lot more effort put into the tapes. I'm not saying that the wraparound there was no effort to it, but it just seemed very different in the sense that like it felt like an afterthought almost. Like I'm not trying to say it in like a mean or like it sucked kind of way, but it kind of like seemed like something that was there just to get the movie going kind of thing. And in comparison to the shorts themselves, it's just like the shorts were just so good, and that's like the meat of the movie, which is good because when you're dealing with an anthology, you want the stories to be your focus. You want the stories to be the prime thing. You don't want to just, oh, let's get back to the wraparound story kind of thing, which this film is like the opposite of that. You want the stories, and then the wraparound comes, and it's like, okay, I'm ready for the next one kind of thing. Um, Basically, the wraparound involves this guy who knocks on this family's door, saying his car broke down essentially, and then they let him in, and he shows that he has some malintentions after a bit, and he has this box, and this box is filled with tapes, and then he starts to play this family these tapes while holding them hostage essentially. It's kind of a silly way that it happens because you're just rolling your eyes at the decisions people are making, especially with the family. And he comes in with the box and he says, "Oh, I only open it at midnight. It's a surprise. Nobody can see this box after midnight." And then like a minute and a half later, he opens it. So it's just like a lot of the stuff is silly when it comes to the wraparound. Some acting in this film was like really really great, and then some acting was really really mediocre. So you get a mix of them. It's kind of all over the place with the acting, but the story specifically, like I said, all were good, all were enjoyable. The really short one that I mentioned was kind of meh, but the three big ones are good. The first one, you have this couple, they're basically like YouTubers essentially, and they go on this like mountain hiking trip, and then they get stalked by this villain that is, I don't know if it's like a monster or not, but it's definitely human. It plays a little bit like a slasher kind of thing, so that's fun. Second story is involves this guy who basically he wants to put himself into a present to surprise his son, I think, or his family, somebody there. And he has this Santa Claus impersonator kind of guy deliver him in the box to the home, except the Santa Claus impersonator has his own intentions, and then things escalate from there. And things don't go as planned, essentially. I really like that one. I really like the guy who plays the Santa impersonator. He is awesome, and he does a great job as a memorable character. There's two actors in particular that are really memorable characters, and this Santa Claus impersonator guy is one of them. And it's really menacing, that story. I really enjoyed that one. It's a nail biter. And then you have the other big one, which is the one that plays last and the one that is the longest. I also really loved it. And then this story also has another character who plays a really memorable guy. The story involves this couple that's moving into a new home, and then freaky kind of paranormal shit starts happening, especially involving these like Christmas ornaments. And they call in a I guess, what would you call him? An exerciser, like I'm blanking on names right now, but basically somebody to cleanse the house of spirits kind of thing. And this guy is so goofy, so over the top, ridiculously weird, and comical, and just weird and eccentric, and the shit he says, and he dives right into his character that he just makes the entire skit. He's like not overbearing, but just awkward in a sense, and always like there kind of thing, and you never know what's going to come out of this guy's mouth or what he's going to think next. So that was really funny. Obviously, this plays off as a horror comedy, so you get a lot of like comedic moments in this film. So I don't really have a favorite story because out of those three that I've mentioned, I like them all. The short one, I'm not really going to get into the plot because it's so short that I would just be spoiling the whole thing. But and like I said, the wraparound I found the most like kind of basic mess story, especially because of how silly things get and unrealistic, in my opinion, things get with that. But you know, the biggest takeaway for this film, in my opinion, is the shorts themselves, and this being streaming on Tubi right now. If you like horror, if you like comedy, if you like independent cinema, which I do very much so, and if you like low budget stuff that is still like professionally well done and has a lot of heart and soul into it, like I recommend the Christmas tapes for sure. And I had a really good time with it, and I hope this one gets talked about a little more in the horror community because it is a lot of fun and it contains a lot of fun shorts in it. And I mean, it's an hour and 40, so I don't know. I don't consider that long, but maybe some people will. I'm not sure, but it's certainly not a high caliber film or anything like that. It's not. It's pretty independent. It's pretty low budget, but it's fun, and it's very entertaining in my opinion. So I definitely strongly recommend the Christmas tapes for the holiday season. So especially if you're a horror fan and horror comedy fan kind of thing, and if you love the VHS tapes, then I don't think you'll be disappointed in this one. So go check it out. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.